utilize their services, it will be good for them, it will be good for education.
The last question. Any other questions do people have like that?
So, I teach at the visiting faculty in business school as well. And I have seen a lot of change in students. We've discussed a lot about teachers and systems and government, etc. in, say, the time I studied and the time now. And I thought it would be interesting to ask for your perspective on that, in terms of from the time you set up this university, what are the different changes you've seen in the students themselves, their attitudes and what they see?
A very good question. When I was professor at Ferguson College, there was a difference between the information of a student and my information. I used to read many books, I used to read reference books, and I used to prepare my lecture. And the concept of a good teacher then was, a good teacher is one who keeps pin drop silence in the classroom. There was only unilateral communication. Now the things have changed because of advances in technology, because of Google, because of internet, and because of so many information media. Students already know the content of the topic, which means there are very often the student knows more than the teacher. So the teacher's role formerly was to not only transmit information to the student, but also to deliver the content. Today, students don't need content from teacher. Students don't need any delivery from the teacher, because there are so many other means to get information and delivery of that content. So the role of today's teacher has changed totally. He should be a guide, a mentor, and an inspiration to the student. This has become a beautiful role, and every classroom should not be a silent classroom. It should be a noisy classroom. Let there be debates. Let there be students asking questions to teachers, teacher asking questions to students. So it should be every class lecture should be a seminar, a workshop, and a conference.
It reminds me of a class that I used to have in Calcutta, Professor Barun. Arguments after arguments would go on, and he would listen. He would call you up on the dais.
Correct.
And it was the most enjoyable subject that I had.
The thing, scenarios in education are so much changed that today learning has replaced teaching. Everybody learns. Student learns, along with students, even teachers learn.
People who want to come and ask questions, please come and line up here, because one mic here. Come on.
Hello sir, my name is Ganesh. So I have a question, like then when you started Symbiosis, then the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, like kind of, it's like a spiritual background, little bit, not exactly. But how it came to your mind, and how do you find that, like how can you cultivate that thing in education system? Because it is something which is like, which is needed for coming future. What I believe.
You see, Symbiosis was not started to establish colleges and universities. The symbiosis, the very word symbiosis, which means living together of two different plants or two different animals for mutual benefit of each other, was started out of compassion. A foreign student was ill in the hostel. His sister used to bring food for them. I got suspected, and then I realized that he was a foreign student suffering from jaundice and unable to walk even few steps. Then I realized the importance of foreign students in Pune. They used to face number of problems. Admission to good colleges, accommodation in hostels, but more than that, Pune is never treated Afro-Asian students on par with white students coming from America and Africa, America and France or UK. We used to throw red carpets to white students, but we used to discriminate students. I will give you an example. There was an African student in Film Institute of India, and I started interviewing him. He told me that, sir, I would like to go away from the city as early as possible. I said, why? He said, because when I get up in the morning in the hospital, I go to my toilet, washroom, your Indian students will either close their eyes or turn their heads to avoid seeing my face, because they thought that saying black early in the morning is a bad omen. He further told me that even if I am traveling in the local buses and there is a space beside me, your girls will prefer to stand rather than to sit beside me. Why? I am black. So in those days and even today, Afro-Asian students feel that they are neglected, they are discriminated. Many of them feel that we people are as color conscious as Britishers and Americans. So in order to create friendship between foreign and Indian students, we started Symbiosis. But then we realized that education is perhaps the best medium. In fact, being my teacher myself, I realized a new role of higher education. And that new role of higher education was, there can be international understanding through quality education. And that is the only reason why we started an educational institution which has now transformed into a university. Initially it was a small Symbiosis International Cultural Center to bring foreign and Indian students together on various social and other occasions, religious occasions. We used to celebrate Rakhi. Can you imagine a foreign girl tying Rakhi to the Indian student? But then we realized that education is perhaps the best medium to promote friendship between Indian and foreign students, bring them together and contribute to world peace and international understanding. And so I am glad many of you feel happy that today Pune is a favored destination of international students. What we did in 1971, government has now realized that more and more foreign students should be invited to India, they should arrive in India, they should be given scholarships. And today, internationalization has become the most important parameter for assessing university as far as world ranking is concerned. So what Symbiosis did in 1971, the government has now awakened and they have started study in India program. I am glad the government is doing this continued good work in attracting foreign students. Because ultimately Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam should be the, what should I say, should be the dream of every young man. You will see here what we have written. Udar Charitanam Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means one where generous heart, broad heart, noble heart will consider this world as one family. And the main function of any good university should be and must be to create global citizens.
Thank you very much, sir. That was very. But sir, you can't go away. You're the teacher, and these students are waiting to ask you questions. Look at this. This is. I look for a teacher and then ask a question. He said, "Aha." Samlay barobar. Come on, guys, quick. Make it a short question.
Good afternoon, sir, and the bench. So before framing my question, I would like to give an example. Talking about reservation. Reservation is always an easy way out. It is most comfortable thing that can happen to anybody. With the example that I would like to give, I've seen talent curbing because of reservation. As you mentioned that the youth which is talented and comes under the reservation is curbed because he gets the reservation. So with the power and influence that you have in your hand, how can you change the tendency of the youth to neglect the comfort and work hard?
First of all, I don't have power. I'm an old retired teacher. But see, somehow there is a discontent among youth. Despair, disappointment, and that is reflected in recent morchas. In the heart of their heart they feel that we work so hard, we get more marks, but the person getting less marks gets opportunities, whereas we don't get opportunities. That discrimination has to vanish one or the other day, and that will be good for not only for our country, but for our young people.
Okay. Now, quick questions. Come forward. A short question. No. Talking about your experiences.
First of all, I would like to thank all the dignitaries for conducting this helpful session. And sir, I would like to cite an example. My friend appeared for this SCMC exam, State General Examination. He secured 84. And then, since the first list was released, he continued to get an email that congratulations, you have been waitlisted, rank 44. Until the 7th list, he got the same thing. That congratulations, you are continued to be waitlisted, rank 44. Continuing with that, in SLAT exam, the general candidates were, for DBLLB, the cutoff for general candidates was 108. And for ST, for scheduled tribes, the cutoff was 01. So, is it not a big disparity? Is it not a kind of reservation?
I think this is going to take another comment. You said it.
Good afternoon, sir. It's regarding reservation. Lot of us urban people have this point that reservation should be done away. But aren't we neglecting the reality that there is still big discrimination against the Dalits still in this country? I have travelled across rural Madhya Pradesh recently extensively, and there is so big discrimination against the Dalits in education, in every aspect of life. So, meaning removing reservations when we are still not able to remove the untouchability and the social discrimination.
I understand your problem. But please remember that there are 123 deemed universities in India. Ours is the only university which has reserved to 22.5% reservation for SC and ST. I repeat, ours is perhaps the only deemed university in the country, self-financing university in the country, which has given reservation to SC, ST candidates. But when I say that one or the other day the reservation should vanish, I see that day when they will also not require reservation. They will come to the level of other candidates. So, economic backwardness should be the most important criteria, so that whether he belongs to SC or ST or to Maratha or to Jat, immaterial.
We move to the next. This is going to be the last question. I know Dr. Bhujandar enjoys having questions thrown at him. He has an answer ready, but make it short.
Sir, so we talk a great deal about education here, and your past remark about how the government should do nothing about how the education has been running. Like in a silent way, you said that the government is not very progressive about how the education is in this country. So, sir, how do we discuss the progress of holding the government accountable for their actions? And what would your message be to the students who are considered here as a huge pool of talent? How should we address the government to hold them accountable for their actions?
What can the government do? What should we ask the government to do?
You better ask this question to Prakash Javadekar, who is the education minister.
No, 1 minute. This is not a question.
My personal feeling is that government should give total autonomy to university. Autonomy is the
खरं म्हणजे माझा प्रश्न होता तुम्ही खूप बोलणार होतो पण तुला सांगितलं मी उत्तर देत आहे ऑटोनॉमी इज व्हॉट वी आर आस्किंग वी बी टॉकिंग अबाउट
very true.
Dr. Muzumdar, you are a teacher. You enjoy interaction with students. I can see that happening. This is what a teacher should be, and all of you should give a big hand to it. Thank you very much. And teachers, I hand it over to you to come and close the meeting, get the meeting closed now. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for that very interactive session. I'm sure our students, faculty, and all our audience members have enjoyed that a lot. Thank you for that.
I'd like to call Dr. Bindu Roner, our Deputy Director, Symbiosis Law School, Pune, to present us with the vote of thanks. As we come to the end of this year's late Shri B.G. Deshmukh Memorial Lecture, it is my privilege to thank everyone who has contributed to the success of this event. Symbiosis Law School, Pune, and Public Concern for Governance Trust, Pune chapter, has been jointly organizing the late Shri B.G. Deshmukh Memorial Lecture, and we have had many eminent personalities who have graced the dais and delivered the lectures in the past. Today, we had the privilege of having our very own Majumdar sir here, donning a different cap. We've always had Majumdar sir grace the B.G. Deshmukh Memorial Lecture since its inception, presiding as the patron of Symbiosis and Symbiosis International Deemed University. But this year, sir agreed to deliver the memorial lecture and chose to speak on a topic which is so close to his heart. Thank you, sir, for addressing the gathering here, and every word that you spoke today came from the depth of your heart. We couldn't have got a better speaker to touch on the aspect of education and development than you. I place on record the support and encouragement that we at the law school get from our Chancellor, Dr. S.B. Majumdar sir, Pro-Chancellor, Dr. Vidya Yaravdekar madam, our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rajani Gupte ma'am. Today, we also have the privilege of having amongst us Mrs. Mrinalini Gupte, granddaughter of late Shri B.G. Deshmukh, and her husband, Mr. Ashok Gupte. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir, for gracing the occasion and making this event more meaningful and special. I take this opportunity to thank all our esteemed guests of the dais, directors and faculty members from our sister institutions who have taken time off their busy schedule to be here for this function. I place on record the immense support that we received from Mr. S.C. Nagpal, Chairman PCGT, Pune Chapter, Mr. Satish Kot, Vice Chairman PCGT, and all the other members of PCGT. I thank Mr. Nagpal for giving the concluding remarks, Mr. Ajit Nimbalkar, Member PCGT, for introducing PCGT, and Sri B.G. Deshmukh, sir, and Mr. Satish Kot for moderating the question and answer session. I also take this opportunity to thank the members of the press who are here to cover the event. I thank Dr. Shashikala Gurpur, Dean, Faculty of Law, and Director, Symbiosis Law School, Pune, for being there for us as our guide and mentor, and meticulously planning the events at the law school to the T. Thank you, ma'am, for your guidance and support.